Welcome again. Of course, this is Saving Africa Uncensored. Of course, my name is Ibrahim, and I'm the presenter of the Ibrahim Talk Show on this platform. Make sure you like and share this video so other people can learn from it. My goal is to ensure that every African is emancipated. Civic education is key. The reason why Africa is backward the way it is because people are not civically educated. And that is why we want to get our people to think about themselves and not their political leaders, not their tribes, and their loyalty should like to their state or to their country. It doesn't matter if you're Nigeria, it doesn't matter if you're Ghanaian or Sierra Leonean, Gambian, Togolese, Rwandese, wherever you are at, right? So I want to talk about, the death of former President Buhari of Nigeria. But there's one area I want to focus on, and that is going to be the area of the fact that he died in the United Kingdom. That is what I want to really talk about. I know this is a very, of course, difficult time for the family, and I understand what it is. It's very tough. But however, I'm going to be stay very neutral with this because I know there are lots of families, a lot of Nigerians that have divergent views. I mean, we would say, okay, in death, let us come together because this person has died. But I'm not going to get into that. The fact is, I just want to focus on the fact that this man died in London, not in Nigeria. Why? Because Nigeria does not have the capable healthcare system to take care of him. And that is the area I want to focus on. So I just want to make that very clear, because when you look at what happened, the Lekki toll gate, the amount of people that have been dying, the Boko Harams, the Fulani herdsmen, all of these terrorist, terrorism thing kind of, took dominance during the reign of former President Buhari. But that is for Nigerians to discuss. However, we're all Africans and we care about Africa because today, when you look at Africa, you see all these Nigerians in different countries going to South Africa, facing xenophobia from South Africans, driving them away from South Africa, all of these other places across the world. People are leaving Nigeria every day, looking for better opportunity. Nurses, doctors, students, citizens, everybody's running away. And so when I saw this, it saddens me to see that, President Buhari did not die in Nigeria, but he died in London. How many Nigerians, that are sick today that need access to proper healthcare have that access to healthcare? They don't. People are dying like dogs, like animals. But the political class are able to go overseas and, seek medical care. Across Africa, it's the same. Maybe there are a few African countries, I'm not sure, where that is not the case. But let's see. Without much ado, let me just show you this is the news, so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Um, uh, and let's see what the news that read
We
about this.
continue to follow developments after the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari, as immediate family members of the former president have been cited at the London hospital, signaling that preparations for the return of his remains are in top gear. With those seen in the hospital are some of his children, grandchildren, and his wife, Aisha Buhari. Earlier today, Vice President Kashim Shettima and the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, arrived in London, the United Kingdom, to receive the body of the late president, who died on Sunday. Vice President.
That's very sad. That's very sad that this man died in London. And then the government officials actually went there. That means they are actually putting a stamp to stuff like that because they all seek, healthcare access overseas. None of these people really stay home if they're sick. It happens across Africa. It happens in Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana. I know Ghana has a better healthcare system, so I wouldn't speak for Ghanaian politicians, but majority of the political class, majority of the elite class do not seek healthcare in Africa. They rather go overseas to, a white man to take care of them. But they cannot develop and improve their healthcare system so it works for everybody. Why is it that the whites don't come to Nigeria for healthcare access? Why is it that the Americans don't go to Nigeria for healthcare access? But only African leaders have to go to these countries to seek access to healthcare, whilst Nigerians are suffering and they are dying. Look at the living conditions of some of these people. You look at the people that are living in that swamp, in a water, a water space. They said they've done everything to get these people out. I don't know what they've done that these people don't want to get out, but I know if they've done everything they should to get those people out. It's a government; they can get them out of there. But the fact that the vice president flew to London to receive the body of the former president, it tells you why wouldn't they just wait? for the body to be flown to Nigeria for him to be buried. But these goes to something they claimed it was Vladimir Putin who said this, but it's been fact checked, that it's not Vladimir Putin who said this phrase about African leaders. So let's take a look at this. Wealthy Africans only return home to be buried. They claim that Vladimir Putin made this comment, but it is not him. It's been fact checked. As you can see, there is no evidence that Russian President Vladimir Putin right here, as you can see, publicly said wealthy Africans don't care about their homelands and only return there to be buried, as allegedly by some social media users. I don't know if this is a thing where Russia is trying to clean this up from the internet, but the fact is, they said it wasn't Vladimir Putin. And this was what the comment that was made about African leaders, right? It says, when an African entrepreneur becomes rich, basically politicians and all of that. He will send his money and gold to Switzerland. He's going to France and medical treatment for medical treatment. The alleged coach he invested in Germany. He buying houses in Dubai. He consumed Chinese products, praying in Rome or Mecca. Their children are studying in Europe or Canada, and they all take Western nationalities. They travel to Canada, USA, and all over Europe for tourism. If he dies, he will be buried in his home country that he did not care for. So even though this was not said by Vladimir Putin, as a lot of people said it was from the Russian president, but the fact of the matter remains because it's been fact checked. But this is the reality for a lot of Africans. It is a reality. That is actually what is happening. And we've seen a clear-cut case of the former president of Nigeria, dying. And now, his body has to be received from overseas. And the Nigerian government actually flew to London, to go pick up his body. As sad as it is, because nobody celebrates death, but I'm sure this is something that has mixed emotions. But I just want to focus on that area and say that, come on. Come on. Why won't African leaders fix their healthcare systems so that it works for everybody? But now look at all the tabloids, overseas. Nigerian former President Muhammadu Buhari dies in London. This is from Reuters again. This is what is actually happening. It's a sad state of affairs. It shouldn't happen that way. Lagos, July 13th, Reuters, Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who led Africa's most populous country from 2015 to 2023, and was the first Nigerian president to house an incumbent through the ballot box, died in London on Sunday, a presidential spokesperson said. So this is everything that is going on around. But then you look at what is actually happening in the Nigerian, healthcare system. I mean, it's just sad that these leaders, with everything, they cannot take care of their healthcare systems in Africa. And a clear case is President Buhari, because if he had fixed Nigeria's healthcare system, it wouldn't have died in London, in a hospital in London. These people are not, they're not, it's not like the white folks are more skilled than the blacks. We have the same capabilities that these people have. We're just as intelligent. All it takes is for these leaders to provide what doctors need, what our nurses need. But look at how they pay nurses. Look at how they pay doctors in Africa. They don't care. They'll take all that money. I guarantee you, Buhari was not spending less than £3,000 to £5,000 a night. I'm being very um hmm, I'm being very just taking it easy here. But there's no way it wasn't spending no less than £3,000 to £5,000 a night in that hospital whilst he was sick. God knows how long he stayed there. But we know his whole presidency was always flying to London anyways. So these are the things we're saying. Why his nurses don't get paid. His family, everybody is in London, flying over there to go see him. He's in a hospital in the United Kingdom. Why can't they fix Africa for what it is? This is across Africa. Sierra Leone is another case and example. Our illegal President Julius Maada will do the same thing, flying constantly overseas for medical care. We look at currently what is happening to the APC, the All People's Congress political party. The chairman of that political party, who won an elections and said he does not want the elections, is in India seeking medical care. He has been there for how long? Probably spending $1,000 a day in those hospitals. So it is across Africa. It is a shame. But then you have supporters that are suffering. The same supporters are the ones that are going to stand up with these politicians. They're going to support them. They're going to stand with them. Like now, what I'm saying, a Nigerian is going to see this because they benefited from the Buhari system. They'll be like, look at what is he talking about? This is the problem. But this man died in London. Are you telling me that Nigerians are not capable of providing the kind of healthcare that President Buhari needed? No, they do have the capabilities. It is just that they were not empowered to. They didn't take care of them. That is why it is what it is. And that is why Africans have to change their mentality. Let's watch this video together of the Nigerian healthcare system. Let's see this.
Healthcare is not a necessity, it's a privilege.
Watch this.
In Nigeria, healthcare is not a necessity, it's a privilege. Despite Nigeria's economic strength, the country has one of the worst healthcare systems in the world. The latest WHO survey ranks Nigeria's healthcare system as the fourth worst in the entire world. This horrendous statistic might be shocking to an outsider.
So think about that. The fourth worst in the world. That means from the bottom. And we know we have over 100 plus countries. So Nigeria is fourth from the bottom. And then that is why this president will go die in London. Spend all that money in healthcare in London. Family members are all in London. Everybody has British passports, American citizenship. This is what they do. Africa is like a cemetery. Africa is like a gravesite for these people. Look at this. This is across Africa, most African countries, except for a few cases that I've seen, like with what Maya talking about, like when he went to, I think it's Lesotho and, Botswana. These countries are doing their best to take care of their people when it comes to healthcare. Rwanda has one of the best healthcare systems in Africa as well. But listen to this. Nigeria is the fourth worst in the world. It's a shame. When is this going to change? Listen to this. Let's listen together.
World. The latest WHO privilege. Despite Nigeria's economic strength, the country has one of the worst healthcare systems in the world. The latest WHO survey ranks Nigeria's healthcare system as the fourth worst in the entire world. This horrendous statistic might be shocking to an outsider. However, it would not come as a surprise to Nigeria's citizens, as the country barely even has an ambulance service or simple toll-free number like 999 for emergencies. Meaning, in the unfortunate event of a heart attack, your chances of survival are dire. You are 20 times more likely to die of a heart attack in Nigeria than in many developed countries, like the UK and France. This is a story of how Nigeria's healthcare system has been crippled and left in the dust by its own ruling elite. Let us do a brief description of Nigeria's healthcare situation. Nigeria's healthcare system is facing serious constraints, with many fearing that the entire system is on the verge of tipping over. Basic hospital supplies and personal protective equipment is barely available, coupled with limited procedures due to staff shortages and inadequate diagnostic equipment like ultrasound.
Guys, this is the reality for Africa. This is what is actually happening. And that is what I want to talk about to all the Nigerian folks out there. I know you're going to have your mixed emotions. I know some of you are going to come from a tribal perspective. Some of you are going to come from, you were APC, so you're part of a political party. So nobody can say anything, about your leaders. And you're going to act crazy and cuckoo because, again, you're not nationalistic, you're not patriotic, you're not thinking about your beautiful country. You're thinking about yourself, you're selfish, you're self-centered. It's all about you guys. This is the problem that Africa has, and this is why you people will continue to suffer, and our people will continue to suffer innocently. Children getting born into this abject poverty-stricken lifestyle. We are trying to change that. That is what this platform is all about. Saving Africa uncensored. That is the goal. Education is key. If all of the people of Africa could stand up and speak with one voice, this kind of nonsense will not be happening. Because look at President Buhari dying in London. Because why? Nigeria does not have the capability to take care of him and give him the kind of healthcare access that he desires. Why? Because as president for 10 years or so, it could not do what it was supposed to do to fix the healthcare system. I think these are the realities that are gripping Africa. And until us as Africans come to terms, put our tribes aside, put our political parties aside, put our regions aside, and face these facts and talk about it. Because right now, some of you are defending Buhari for what I'm saying, but you have a family member who does not even have access to go see a dentist, let alone go see an optometrist, because they've been complaining about their eyes. We're talking about cataracts. You guys call it jege eyes or whatever you guys call it in Nigeria. I don't know. But the cataracts get built up. It creates foggy vision. You can't even see. Millions of Nigerians are suffering from that. They don't have access to healthcare to be able to get a cataract surgery done. That cataract surgery only takes about 15, 16 minutes. It's life changing for a lot of people. But these basics that the world has moved on is what African people are still struggling with, because you have leaders like Buhari who was supposed to fix the healthcare system for Nigerians, but did not do it. So today, he got sick. Where did he go? London. I guarantee you, all of his family members, London. Wife, London. kids, London. Everybody has British passport, but Africa is just this, dumping ground. Africa is just like a cemetery. It is just a harvesting ground. They sell all your mineral resources, keep the money overseas. I guarantee you, President Buhari and his family, they would never be poor for the rest of their life. Billions of dollars in bank accounts if you're not careful. That is what it is. But you people continue to support these leaders, aid them in the destruction of our Africa continent. And this is what is actually happening. Look at what is happening there. Sad. You know somebody right now who's crying to go to hospital. They don't have money. But you're here defending Buhari, a man who died in the United Kingdom. Have you ever been to the United Kingdom? Some of you have never been on a plane. You don't even know what it's like to travel. But yet you're defending these politicians. Shame on you guys. Think, expose your mind, open up your mind, think about your country, think about yourself first, love your people first. That's the only way Africa would go forward. Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Lome, wherever you're from, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Senegal, wherever you're from, Cameroon, it's the same thing until we, the people of Africa, starts to speak in one language, speak in one accord, not language per se, but speaking one accord, nothing is going to change. We have to stand by ourselves. We deserve better. All right. So I wish everybody well. However you want to take this, you can take it the way you want to take it. But the fact that Buhari died in London and not in Nigeria is a shame, and it speaks to the abject and corrupt, mentality that African leaders have, and it needs to change. And you, the people, have to be the ones that would get them to change that mentality, so that they should die in their countries, because they should have fixed the healthcare system so the healthcare system can give back to them. We have brilliant doctors, brilliant nurses. Pay them well. Give them the tools they need. Look at Sierra Leone as an example. We had a doctor died. Dr. Wale died because we don't have a CT scan in the hospital. He had to be driven around to go to a private hospital to get a CT scan, a cheap CT scan. But Julius Matabio, the current illegal ECOWAS chairman, who is illegally occupying the presidency in Sierra Leone, flies every day, has spent over $90 million on traveling. Every year, it's costing Sierra Leone over $20 million just for this man's traveling escapades. But we don't have a CT scan in hospitals. It's a shame. But tribalism has blinded his supporters. All they see is this is our own guy. Even though they are suffering, the prices of commodities does not ask what political party you belong to. When you go to the market, the price of rice is the same for everybody. They don't ask you if you belong to this tribe or you belong to this political party or if you're supporting this president. No, the price is the same. We all pay the same. Some might have access to stealing money. Some might not have access to. So supporters suffer as well. Open up your bright, beautiful minds, African people. All right? I'm going to leave it right here. This again, make sure you follow on YouTube. I'm on every other platform. Look me up, Saving Africa Uncensored. You can follow me everywhere to get more information. Learn, and let's empower Africa so we can bring Africans together and we can build this continent, because we deserve so much more better. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.